Hi, everyone. Welcome to your show, E-Copy with Experts. This is Ranmay here. And today we have none other than Kevin England, who is the CEO and president at Vonazon with us. Hey, Kevin.
Hi, how are you? Hello, everyone.
Hey, Kevin. All good, yeah? How are you?
I'm doing great. Having a wonderful day here in Ventura, California.
Lovely. Kevin, before we move any forward, why don't you let a lot of people would already know, but why don't you talk us through about your journey? How did you get into the space and what has been your journey so far? And talk us through Vonazon as well, how you formed it and where is it now?
Sure. So welcome. Wow, the story associated to that. I had actually owned another business just prior to it. I owned a company called the IT Group, which was an IT company that I sold to Gateway Computers. I don't know if you remember them or not. They were the cow boxes. So I sold that business off to Gateway Computers, and I had a couple of years where I could sit and think and maybe spend some time with family. And then some of those customers, a couple of the customers that I used to work with over with the IT business called me up and said, hey, we're having a real challenge, especially as we went into, it was around 2000, 2007, 2008, where we were going into this recession. And they said, we're having a real challenge trying to work in our trade show to build a return on investment at our trade show. So they're like, come out here to CES, and which is the trade show that's actually going on right now, to CES and help us to build an ROI around it. So I went out there and I built out this sales and marketing strategy. And I said, here you go, guys. This is great strategy that you could implement and build out based on the audience and based on the event and all these great things. And they said, good, now you do it. I said, wait a minute, me? They said, I'm an IT guy. And they went, no, I need you to do it. Great strategy. So that's how we started. I then started building out and implementing this strategy in and around trade shows and events and webinars and all these types of things. It's what's called a pre, during, and post-marketing strategy. And that launched our business basically out of my office in my home. And now we've grown dramatically since that period of time. But that was the beginning stages of Vonazon. And now we're a full service digital sales and marketing agency, as I mentioned, located in Ventura, California. But we have employees all over the world and customers
Lovely.
all over.
Quite a story, I must say. And Kevin, you are deeply passionate about sales and marketing yourself, right? And
Yeah.
our digital landscape is evolving like anything. So how do you ensure that Vonazon stays at the forefront of marketing technology and trends to maintain that competitive edge?
Yeah, that's a great question. Good starting question in that capacity. I guess at that point, I have to reflect back to my journey as a young entrepreneur. At the age of 19, when I first started in business, I was navigating all these tumultuous waters of business and with minimal guidance, right? We have no guidance. And to be honest, it was like a game of trial and error, where error basically took the lead. Once you started in business, just a lot of errors until you finally figure it out. And the key to my growth was really understanding and seeking out teams or people and learning from those individuals that had walked in my path before. And now with decades of lessons and mentors that I've worked with and experiences that have shaped my perspective, today I see myself as a guide to others that are walking in the same shoes that I did, regardless of age. And not that I'm suggesting there's going to be these fresh-faced 19-year-olds like I was. But many of our clients possess an expertise in their respective trades, but grapple with the intricacies of marketing their business to achieve sustainable success. And the success, not just for themselves or their business, but also for their families, because that's really why we all work anyways, is to support ourselves, our families. So now let's get to the technological aspect of it. When I mentioned this, I had this inclination towards technology, which led me to establish that first tech business that I got involved with. And a mission at that time was to bolster companies to achieve their tech-driven goals. The foundation was made for me to help navigate this ever-changing landscape of technology, sales, and marketing as I started thinking about how to build out a sales and marketing business. And so I continue to strive to discern which emerging technologies align best with our clients' aspirations. So I'm constantly focused on that. And I believe that equipping my team with that same knowledge of innovations and change is part of my goal and process. So I get together and I teach my team about all the new evolving and emerging technologies that are out there. And then together we engage with our customers. We find out what audiences they're going after, and we look at the types of technologies that are available.
Mhm.
And we basically bring the two together so that we can help our customers to achieve their goals in marketing as it pertains to sales and marketing with the best technology that's available to them. And hopefully that was probably a long-winded answer.
And that's absolutely makes sense. Kevin, you have been a thought leader in the ABM segment, and then
Yes.
you have likely witnessed the evolution of ABM strategies over the years, right? What is your perspective on how the overall ABM segment has transformed, and what emerging trends or tactics you believe will shape the future in the coming years for ABM in particular?
Let's just talk about, first of all, where ABM comes from. So I appreciate you bringing up account-based marketing. So account-based marketing is like how our firm focuses strategies to associate with our customers and their audiences. So if we do this deep dive into ABM, we have to grasp the essence and almost revisit the definition and the understanding of account-based marketing and the evolutionary journey that marketers have taken to comprehend this strategy. Even though ABM is more like a recent term, right? Account-based marketing is more of a recent term
Yeah.
defined over the most recent years, right? But the conceptual roots go back so much further because we've been doing this forever. I had a recent keynote at HubSpot's Inbound where I was speaking about account-based marketing. And I asked the audience, I said, look, if you ask 1,000 different marketers, and I did this, I asked a bunch of different marketers in the audience before I said this, but if you ask 1,000 different marketers to define ABM, account-based marketing, you're going to get 1,000 different answers. And the reason why is because the diversity stems from the fact that many companies shape their definition about ABM around their own products, services, and personal interpretations of the theory rather than the practical implementation of ABM. And so historically, the core concept of ABM, which is, now we'll define it, tailoring one's marketing effort to a specific audience. So again, ABM is about tailoring one's specific marketing efforts to a specific audience. And that's not new. Again, that's been going on for centuries,
Yeah.
where we've always been trying to tailor our products and services to a specific audience with information. Although modern advancements within sales and marketing technologies have truly revolutionized the way that we approach ABM. Gone are the days that we're solely focused on TV and magazines or newspapers to disseminate information to our potential customer. Now, thanks to evolving technology, which we talked about before, we can identify our target customer with pinpoint accuracy, leveraging like the wealth of data based on our prospective buyers. And ABM helps us to refine that approach, ensuring that individuals receive content that is more tailored precisely, and that's the essence of ABM, more tailored precisely to their business and their preferences. And the horizon of ABM is so vast and promising, especially with the introduction of artificial intelligence. And as you throw that into the mix, and I'm not going to get into that totally right now, I can talk about it a little bit later, but with AI, the potential to personalize content for every individual audience, regardless of their position within the company that they represent, has exponentially grown. And AI underscores, and this is technology, underscores the necessity now, especially more, of personalization, which is a core concept of account-based marketing and the account-based marketing strategy.
Absolutely. And then talking about personalized approach for account-based marketing, how does this personalized approach contribute to deeper human connections with target accounts throughout their customer journey? Because, sorry, please go ahead.
No, I love how you picked up on that. Your personalization,
Yeah.
how you picked up on that with this question. Go
Yeah.
ahead. You want to
I,
respond?
I was saying there's so many steps to a customer buying process these days, and then so many options for that matter, right? So
Yes.
how do you devise those strategies to have those connections and trigger that decision, buying or the decision making process for that matter?
That's great that you even bring up the process in there. So that kind of fits into that conversation a great deal. So account-based marketing, ABM, stands out like literally in this vast sea of marketing strategies, primarily focused on the personalized approach, right? Talked about that. Now, why is personalization so integral? And the question that many ask, why is it so integral? How does that correlate to a deeper human connection? And so let's get into that, especially from a business context. So all I can say is this. Let's imagine you walk into a cafe, right? Use that. And the barista remembers your name and your regular order.
Yeah.
Hi, Bob. Is it going to be the vanilla latte today? So that sense of acknowledgement, of being seen and recognized, you're not just another customer, right? You're you. And that's the essence of personalization that we want to get to. Now you translate that to the world of ABM. When businesses employ a more personalized approach, they're essentially saying, we see you. We understand your needs. We're here to cater specifically to them. And this direct focus on individual audiences and accounts isn't just about selling your products and services. It's about building a relationship.
Right.
And when discussing account-based marketing and its personalized approach, I can't think but to, you'll love this, to parallel that I drew at the HubSpot Inbound event. I liken various phases, and I'll get into those phases, of account-based marketing strategy and the process that we all go through our human relationships, like dating, like from online dating to the expansion of the family. And it's a journey, right? And a journey much like love, where we constantly work to understand and connect deeper with one another, with each of us as human beings. And so you talked about the phases in your question. So we look at it as there are 5 phases of account-based marketing: brand awareness, building the pipeline or building the sales pipeline acceleration, which is like sales acceleration, becoming a customer and the customer retention, and then customer expansion. So I'll give you a little bit of insight on how I liken this to the world of dating, which is a fun thing. So when you look at, brand awareness, it's online dating, all right? When you first put yourself out there on the dating platform, you're typing up all the good information about yourself, putting it out there, then you're swiping right and swiping left. You're essentially trying to generate interest into who you are, right? That's all brand awareness. Your personalized awareness. Similarly, with ABM brand awareness or the businesses, companies use marketing tactics to introduce themselves. Same type of thing, introduce themselves to potential clients, giving them a taste of their brand, maybe a little bit about their products and services, but who they are as individuals. And so then from there, you transition to building the pipeline. And this reminds me of the process of actually dating. So at first, we're just doing everything online. Now we're in the process of actually dating and moving towards exclusivity, right, as human beings and in the dating world. We've moved beyond the initial interactions that we're doing, and now we're diving deeper to understand each other, the needs and the aspirations of another human being. Let's liken that to the business world. Let's liken that to ABM. This is when we start engaging our target audiences and accounts more deeply, providing them with a richer understanding of our products and services and how we can provide value to them, just like in the dating world, which then moves towards, we'll call the next one, sales acceleration or pipeline acceleration. And it feels like entering at this point, pipeline acceleration is starting to enter a committed relationship. As humans, we've established trust, and there's a deeper emotional connection that we have as human beings. And similarly with the business world or ABM, this is the phase, this pipeline acceleration, where potential leads are becoming actual genuine opportunities. And we've engaged with them enough. They're genuinely interested now about nurturing that interest and guiding them towards a purchase, right? Towards this committed relationship that we're all trying to do as humans, and same thing in the business world. And that's where the next phase comes in, becoming a customer and customer retention. And I often equated that, or I did at least at this event, I equated that to marriage. It doesn't have to be marriage, it could be buying a home, I don't know. But it's committing a relationship, right? It's the long haul. It's in ensuring the relationship thrives and grows. And it's so funny about when people become a customer. Marketers, this is the big mistake marketers make, is that they stop marketing, they go back to trying to get net new people. Now think about that from a human relationship perspective. If you got into a marriage and all of a sudden the day after the marriage, you stop trying, that's a problem. So that's a common mistake. So at this point, you want to continuously provide value to your customer, make them feel cherished. And finally, is that customer expansion phase. And it's about growing and evolving together. And I akin that to becoming a family, children, things like that, creating that committed relationship. You deepen the relationship even further. And when I can only use, say, our business from our agency for that example, and it's continuously offering more value, almost turning like a one-time project, which we all have as businesses, into a fruitful relationship or partnership with a customer. And that takes you through the entire process. So in essence, ABM just isn't about selling your product and services. It's about building a bond, a connection. And just like in love, in relationships, the journey matters just as much, if not more, than the actual destination.
Lovely. I just love the way you put it, right? I just love.
It was actually a lot of fun to do that up on stage, and especially when I started saying, "Okay, we're going to talk about love," and I felt a little weird about it, but it was funny, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. And everyone can actually resonate to this analogy, right?
Yeah.
We
Everyone
all
around,
can.
you can see the women in the audience going, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah.
And even the guys are going, "Yeah, I get it."
Absolutely. And even I was like, yeah, I can relate to this.
Yeah, so it was a great way to explain the journey, how account-based marketing came together, and then that we know we can expand on.
Absolutely. And then given moving forward, talking about technology, like you mentioned during our game room conversation, AI and automation, machine learning has it hit our industry. Though it was always there, but hit our industry around
Sure.
last year, in fact, December, around end of 2022. So how do you feel, while it is integral to account-based marketing, how do you feel businesses can leverage these technologies to scale their ABM efforts? And also, I would, after you have taken us through this ABM strategy with your charismatic approach, I'd also want to know from you, where do you feel are we headed with AI, machine learning, and all this tech moving forward?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I know I mentioned AI earlier, but I only touched on it, so now let's expand that out a little bit. It's really fascinating to look at how technology is changing our world every day and how quickly it's really changed our world.
Indeed.
And
Yeah.
the ability to create and sustain personalized connections with targeted audience, artificial intelligence has become a huge part of that process. But at its core, AI and ABM really is about understanding and nurturing individual accounts as their own audience and their own market. And this is where AI comes in and really plays magnificently, right? AI-driven analytics can help businesses to deeply understand their ideal customer profile. So what is So it's the ICP, ideal customer
Right.
profile. Who are you selling your products and services to every day? By analyzing vast amounts of data at literally breakneck speeds, right? Because none of us could analyze that
Yeah.
much data at the speeds in which the AI tools are able to do that.
True.
AI tools can identify patterns, preferences, pain points of different audiences and accounts, and effectively take your ICP, your ideal customer profile, into your target account list, which is who your prospects are.
True.
So it can take that into that very easily for you and do it automatically, where it was much more difficult to create that on your own. And as the accounts move through the different stages of brand awareness, building the pipeline acceleration, AI helps to refine and narrow down these segments based on how they interact, the feedback they provide, their behaviors. You can analyze this information. And by the time that the journey, the customer gets to pipeline acceleration, you've moved from what they call a one-to-many, which is the beginning stage, one-to-many approach, to a more tailored one-to-few approach. And now you're dealing with prospects that have a genuine interest, and AI really helps in that. AI and automation, I'll say. It ensures, and so what it really does, it ensures consistency and timeliness, right? So let me explain that. It ensures that at every stage of the journey, from brand awareness through customer expansion, this is the key, relevant content is delivered, we use the same word that we've heard a million times, to the right person at the right time. AI is perfect with that. But
Right.
here's the catch. While automation ensures efficiency, the content itself has to have to be crafted with that personalized touch. And that's where the balance comes in. The balance between artificial intelligence and tools of it and the content that you're using, which is such an important part of that. And the analogy that I used earlier about connecting and building based on human relationships, we have to consider AI and automation as a tool to help us remember things like anniversaries and likes and dislikes and habits of a relationship, right? So it's a great tool that helps us to remember all these things. And while they aid in ensuring that you don't forget and that you're always showing up, the genuine love, care, and effort in maintaining and deepening the relationship still has to be a personal approach. So AI is the tool that we use, and then the content is the love and the connection that we have. So you bring the two of them together and you have this wonderful method to build out a strategy. And as you move through the different stages, like customer retention, which I akin that to marriage and things like that, AI really helps to understand more about your customer interactions, purchases, feedbacks, and things like that. And on the relationship side, it's like helping you to remember again your spouse's favorite food or song, things like that. It helps us to do that. It does it in a timely fashion so that we are better at what we do. And it's not just about upselling or cross-selling. It's based on a genuine need from and previous behaviors of an audience. AI is a great tool. It's really imperative for your audience. I think we can end this with this, is that your audience to understand that human part, that human touch, the content that we create is so important. Where gifts and gestures are essential, but the genuine connection is truly irreplaceable. And in ABM, genuine engagement and authentic connection cannot necessarily be fully replaced by technology. It can be augmented, it can be enhanced, it can be made more efficient. But at the heart of the interaction, that still needs to remain truly human. There you go.
Absolutely. While it does enhances our efficiency, it is not really a final deliverable product, right? You still have to put some sort of humanization, is what we call it,
Absolutely.
at the end of it to make it consumable in terms of content for the end users. Yeah. So that's still
Right.
there.
Yes.
It's still not up to speed in terms of replacing us for sure. Right.
That's correct. So don't get too scared, everybody out there. It's not going to replace us in that, because that human element still always needs to be there, especially with the content that we create and disseminate out to our audiences and customers. So,
Absolutely. Great. Yeah. Lovely, Kevin. But before I let you go, I would like to play a quick rapid fire with you, and I'm sure you'd be game for it.
all right, let's go with it.
All right. Your celebrity crush.
My celebrity crush is Wonder Woman, whatever her, I don't remember her name.
Okay. Yeah,
Is
even I don't. But yeah, I can relate. I can relate. All right. Your last Google search.
I was looking up a hand tool for a gazebo that I'm about to build.
Okay.
I needed a specific tool for it.
Okay. What is the weirdest thing that you've done in your life so far?
The weirdest thing that I've done in my life so far. Wow. I don't know if it's weird. I'm an adventure person, skydiving and bungee jumping and those things. I love that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that's weird or not, but it takes you to that next level in life.
All right.
So
It does.
people might call it strange.
Okay. What did you do? Okay. How do your college or school faculties or teacher look at you? What would they say about you? How are you as a kid, as a student?
Oh, great one. So in other words, how did my teachers, professors look at me as a student? They thought I would never make anything of myself. I actually went into a counselor's meeting in high school, and the counselor says, you will be a loser. Literally says this to me. You will be a loser for the rest of your life, because I had long hair and I was kind of like a little surfer kid. And I
Okay.
just looked at him and I didn't really, it didn't resonate with me until later in life. And I look back at that moment in my life and I think this guy thought I was going to be a loser because I had long hair and I was a little surfer kid. But in reality, you're doing what you're doing. And I think I've done okay for myself in life.
For sure. Okay. The last one will not really any further. Okay. Uh, where do we find Kevin on Friday evenings?
You're gonna find Kevin. I have a club that I go to with a bunch of guys that all are a bunch of because I live in Ventura and we surf a lot. So it's a bunch of guys that all we do is talk about what we did, where who's going to Costa Rica to surf, or if we're gonna fly out to Nicaragua or we're gonna do something like that. So we're on a Friday evening. I'm probably having a beer with a bunch of guys, hanging out and just laughing and having a really good time, kind of letting go of the week, chilling and relaxing. But two different kinds of life. Surf life of mine. I'm also more of a spiritual guy, so it's just relaxation, meditation is all part of my life as well.
Great. Lovely. And Kevin, let's say if our listeners want to reach out to you, how do they do that?
The company Vonazon, also I have my own site. You can go do that. I have a podcast that I did a while ago, but it's called Figuring It Out. It gives you a little insight. It's a lot of my life. Figuring it out's always been how I've approached most everything. So you can look up those types of things, but Google me, that's okay as well.
Perfect. Great, Kevin. Thank you so much for doing this with us. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you.
Not a problem. Great to talk with you. Good to meet with you. And I look forward to our next conversation. You take care.